Good morning, sixth graders. Today we continue on our saga of completing this giant map that we received yesterday. It looked yesterday like we all did a really nice job of filling in those lakes and major rivers of Minnesota. And I know that there's a lot of empty space on that map that we could fill in with other things, but this is a good start for us right now. So we'll just continue with that. Um, we're going to really today concentrate on our cities on that map and then get the Todalis things done. Just as a few reminders, this map is due tomorrow. You'll hand it to your teacher, who will then, of course, hand it to me. As always, I'm looking for neatness. I'm looking for care of construction when you color, when you write. I don't want sloppiness. This needs to be your best possible work. Additionally, tomorrow there'll be a quiz to kind of wrap up the last 2 weeks. There'll be questions on tomorrow's quiz about things like Todalis, the title, orientation, date, author, legend, scale thing we've been talking about now. So I might give you a map and you'll have to identify the Todalis elements. Or I might give you a question where you have to explain what a title is or what an orientation is or why a legend's important. So please, please, please know this stuff. So really quickly before I get into the map itself, on the schedules for today, I wanted to talk about what a watershed is. And watersheds are really fascinating things, really important. People don't often think about them, but a watershed really uh, is an area of land where if there is a water droplet that falls in that land from the sky, or if it melts from snow, all that water will eventually end up in one central location or in one river. So in this case, on this map here, here's a map of the United States. This blue area is the Mississippi River watershed, or in this case, the map calls it the Lake Itasca watershed, or subwatershed, excuse me. So in theory, every drop of rain that falls in this area, there's my cat, right on a cue, eventually ends up in the Mississippi River and then eventually goes to the Gulf of Mexico. Now that's amazing to think about. So from a personal standpoint, it kind of reminds us that what we put into the water or what we allow to get into the water could, in theory, affect thousands, if not millions, of people. So we need to be careful with our watersheds and keep them as clean as possible. So Minnesota is an interesting place because we have three watersheds in our state. Obviously, the one I just showed you is the Mississippi River watershed, which is this one in green here. That part of the state, all that water ends up in the Mississippi River eventually. Now, the purple area over here is called the Lake Superior watershed. Any water or snow that falls in that region eventually goes into Lake Superior. But very few people know or even think about the fact that the water in Lake Superior eventually goes through all the Great Lakes, goes through the St. Lawrence River, and in theory ends up in the Mississippi or in the Atlantic Ocean. So a drop of rain here up by Wolf Ridge could eventually travel through the water system all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. And then this brown area up here is called the Hudson's Bay watershed. Um, the Red River, the Rainy River, the Big Fork, and Little Fork rivers go north. And that water eventually drains into either Hudson's Bay, and even before that, goes through a whole series of rivers to get to Hudson's Bay. So that is also a large watershed. In theory, there's a spot over here in Minnesota where the green and the brownish meet. Uh, there's a little hill there. It's called Browns Valley. In theory, if you were to stand on this hill with a bucket of water and stand exactly in the middle of the hill, if you were to pour the water on the ground, half the water should go one way, half the water should go the other way. Half goes north, and then the rest of it would go south and eventually ends up to the Mississippi. So it's kind of a fascinating little tidbit. Just a small hill. And when you're driving along through this area, if you drive across the state this way, you could see where the watershed is. There's a definite divide. There's a swampy area, there's a few hills, and then you kind of go up over this hill, and then you go to a new area. Now, along Lake Superior, it's really pronounced because of the stiff rocks and topography over there. You can really see where the edge is. Uh, it's much like the top of a hill. One on the top of a hill, the water goes this way. On the other side of the hill, it goes that way. So, enough about watersheds. At this time, I'd like you to get your map out. So, if you want to pause, if you don't have your map out already, and grab that, that would be just awesome. Okay, resuming. On your map, um, you've already gone ahead and labeled all these lakes and rivers. I didn't want to muddle that up, so I took a picture beforehand. So these lakes and rivers have all been labeled. What's now left on your map are these black squares. And these black squares indicate cities. Okay. And of course, those cities are listed right here. Okay. Now, you could, if you wanted to, go to Google Maps and look up the locations of these cities. That would be fine. You could also go to this file under today's work and open this map up. And you would see pretty much the same map that we would use to find lakes and rivers, except now this one has some major cities in red. The cities are in red, the counties are in black. So for us, way down here where we live, there's Scott County. Okay. Now there's no major cities listed in Scott County. And I believe that is because of the crowdedness of the map in this area. But lucky for us, we don't have to worry about that. But all the other major cities, all those black squares on your map, are represented by cities here. So you just really have to compare your map right here to this map right here, and you should easily be able to find what you need. And if that doesn't work for you, go right ahead and use Google Maps. I'm not stopping you from using sources. Really quickly, I'm going to wrap up and be done here. In your map, on your map, excuse me, there is this huge open spot right below Lake Superior or south of Lake Superior. I would like you to draw a box about this size. Try and make the box as neat and square as possible. Now listen carefully. In this box, this is going to be your legend. You are going to tell me what every single color and every single color and every single shape on this map means. That's just one thing. All right. Up here in this pink area, you don't have to draw a box, but in this pink area, that would be a grand spot to put your title for your map. Just a couple final things here. We've already done the author in this red box. So if we're talking about Todalis, we would put our title up here. We could put our date in this box here if we wanted. And of course, we're going to put our scale in this box. But make that box really neat. But the only thing that's not going to go in this box, just because, is our orientation or our compass rose. So I would strongly suggest over in this area right here that you create your compass rose so we can have our title, orientation, date, author, legend, scale all on the map. And of course, that's something you need to do right here. The one thing I'm going to help you with is the scale. And I thought I had this written down, but I didn't. So I'm just going to quickly show you the scale right now. Are you ready? So on our map, scale. I figured this out. I used math. It was amazing. But I figured out that 1 inch equals 46 miles. Actually, 46.66666, but we'll round it up to 47 miles. Not kilometers, not meters, but 1 inch equals 47 miles. And you can stick that on your map wherever you so choose. Okay? So I've kind of handheld you here. And if you get really stuck, you could go to this presentation and pause it. And actually, I lied. I'll just I'll put it on the classwork. I will take a picture. I've already taken a picture of a completed map. And if you get super stuck and can't go on and need help, teachers and instructors will know that there's a map here, and I'll put it as a file so that you can use it to help you complete this map. So this is due tomorrow. Neatly done. There's a quiz as well. So lots going on. If you happen to get done, and of course, work on your Big Five or silent read. Cat says goodbye. Have a great day.